Здравствуйте! Как вы поживаете? Как дела? Ну что ж, сегодня мы с вами в первую очередь повторим местоимения и прилагательные. So the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to review some pronouns, so-called indicative pronouns, things like this, that, and also some other adjectives that as well depend on the gender of the noun that they modify. Last time we spent a bit of time dealing with one and all. We had все being different depending on the gender of the noun, and one, один, одна, одно, etc. being different as well. We'll review that today. One more thing that we're going to do is also go ahead and spend even more time on aspects of verbs. That is something that we can't escape. In addition to that, we will have долго versus давно with some more examples. Of course, долго is for a long time and not happening right now. Давно for a long time and is still going on, and also давно has another meaning of long time ago. But first things first. Let's go ahead and look at all, entire. Весь is what we've got. If you'd like to follow along, you can easily find that in your textbook. It's going to be there on page 195. Хорошо? So, весь is all. For example, весь понедельник, the entire Monday. There it is. Весь понедельник. Понедельник is masculine. As a result, you would have весь being masculine. If, however, you have something feminine like среда, Wednesday, to say the whole Wednesday, you'll have вся среда. Now it gets even trickier because time phrases usually are put in accusative case. So what you really will be saying in a complete sentence is всю среду, with вся being replaced for всю, среда for среду. Хорошо? But we'll stick with just what we've got right now. Хорошо? If you want to say the entire Sunday, воскресенье being neuter, there it is. Воскресенье being neuter will require you to use всё. So the whole Sunday, всё воскресенье. Хорошо? By the way, when we talk about spending the whole day doing something, you're going to use imperfective verbs, wouldn't you? You're talking about process. So something like, I read this book all Sunday. Я читал эту книгу всё воскресенье. Хорошо? Затем, another example is all in plural. For example, все деньги. All the money. Хорошо? Money in Russian is plural, as you remember. So, все деньги. Хорошо? All my money. Все мои деньги. И так далее. Хорошо. So that's все, which has four forms. Masculine весь, feminine вся, neuter всё, and then plural все. Хорошо? Very similar thing happens to one. One, один, is treated like an adjective in Russian. So then if you want to say one Tuesday, you will have один вторник. Хорошо? Вторник being masculine will get you to say один вторник. Хорошо? But one Friday, пятница, being feminine, you will have одна пятница. Хорошо? So one is an adjective, which depends on the gender of the noun it modifies. Один вторник, одна пятница. Neuter, you could have, like we had before, одно воскресенье, or another example, одно дело. Хорошо? Дело is business. I have one business to deal with. Одно дело. Хорошо? That's the дело we use in как дела. Хорошо? Okay? И, наконец, and then finally, одни. The plural form of one, well, actually, it means alone, for more than one person. And here's a complete example. Они жили там одни. They lived there alone. Хорошо? They weren't alone, there were two of them, or whatever number was, but we do that in English too. The phrase itself is a little strange. So, одни, plural form of one. Хорошо? I would like you to see a quick example of what we just went through that illustrates how to use this entire. Весь день, все утро, весь вечер. Take a look, please. Таня, что вы вчера делали?
Я все утро работала в своем офисе. Потом я весь день разговаривала со школьниками по телефону.
Понятно.
А потом весь вечер отдыхала дома.
Хорошо.
А вы, Дмитрий, что делали?
Я все утро преподавал в университете, потом после обеда работал здесь, в студии, но потом весь вечер слушал музыку дома.
О, хорошо.
Очень хорошо. А теперь давайте посмотрим, what this was about. So, Таня, что вы вчера делали? Таня, what did you do yesterday? Please notice I'm using делали, imperfective. What were you doing? What did you do? Merely asking about the fact, not what did you get done. And she answers in the same style. She says, я все утро, entire morning, утро being neuter, все утро работала в своем офисе, worked in my office. Потом весь день, что весь день? Давайте посмотрим. Говорила по телефону со школьниками. Then all day, весь день, день being masculine, весь день. Говорила по телефону, spoke on the telephone со школьниками, with students, literally schoolniks, right? По телефону is on the phone. Хорошо? А потом весь вечер отдыхала дома. And then all evening, once again, evening is masculine, so we're using весь. Весь вечер отдыхала дома. Relaxed, rested at home. Please notice that we are using all imperfective verbs here. Хорошо? Едем дальше. Let's keep going. А вы, Дмитрий, что вчера делали? And you, Dmitry, what did you do yesterday? Я все утро преподавал в университете. I all morning, утро neuter, so все утро преподавал в университете, taught at the university. Дальше, потом, после обеда, then after lunch, that is how Russians usually say in the afternoon, после обеда. So, потом, then, после обеда, работал здесь, в студии, worked here, in the studio, а потом, весь вечер, слушал музыку дома. And then, all evening, вечер being masculine, we're using весь, слушал музыку дома, listen to music at home. That sounds like science fiction. Хорошо. Ну что ж, давайте еще раз это посмотрим. Теперь вы понимаете, что здесь происходит, и это будет для вас более полезным. Now you know what's happening, so looking at it once again will be very helpful in reinforcing that idea of все утро, all morning long, весь день, all day, all afternoon, etc. Весь вечер, all evening. Пожалуйста. Таня, что вы вчера делали?
Я все утро работала в своем офисе. Потом я весь день разговаривала со школьниками по телефону.
Понятно.
А потом весь вечер отдыхала дома.
Хорошо.
А вы, Дмитрий, что делали?
Я все утро преподавал в университете, потом после обеда работал здесь, в студии, но потом весь вечер слушал музыку дома.
О, хорошо.
Очень хорошо. А теперь самое главное. Несовершенный, совершенный виды глаголов. Now the most important thing we have dealt with for a few lessons, are continuing on and will still be dealing with for quite a while, and that is imperfective and perfective aspects of verb. What it is once again the whole notion of each action having an imperfective component that is an idea that you're simply talking about something happening, about the time that's spent on doing something. Okay? And the second component, perfective, which deals with getting it done. Not doing it, but getting it done. Okay? Result, completion. Хорошо. First, a couple examples. We know those verbs. Начинать, to begin. There it is, посмотрите. Of course, you're going to use another infinitive of another verb after it. Something like to begin writing. Начинать писать. To begin watching, looking, начинать смотреть, etc. Хорошо? That's to be getting things started. To be kicking things off. Хорошо? It's a normal first conjugation verb. Therefore, it conjugates like that. Я начинаю. Please repeat after me. Я начинаю. Ты начинаешь. Он начинает. Мы начинаем. Вы начинаете. Они начинают. Very, very straightforward. Хорошо? Another example. Мы начинаем читать. We're beginning to read. Хорошо? Мы начинаем писать. Мы начинаем anything. Хорошо? That's when you are getting started. Хорошо? Also, past tense is extremely useful. He was beginning to do something when something else happens, for example. Хорошо? Он начинал. Хорошо? She began. Она начинала. They were beginning. Они начинали. Хорошо? Now, in the past tense, it's going to be more useful to use the perfective verb, the perfective aspects, to get it started. Хорошо? To kick things off. Not to be starting, but to just go from zero to having started. That's the perfective to begin. Начать. Хорошо? Начать. Okay? If you conjugate it to make it look like present tense, you're gonna end up with future tense. You remember that idea of not having present tense of the perfective aspect. The idea that you cannot have an action completed, have a result derived from it and still happening in the present. Doesn't happen. So, let's go ahead and focus on what we will be able to use now, and that is past tense. So, he got started. He began. Он начал. Хорошо? She began. Она начала. And once again, use any infinitive after она начала. She began to read. Она начала читать. Хорошо? Infinitive, which means it'll have тени, мягкий знак there. So, they began. Они начали. Очень хорошо. Ну что ж, теперь давайте мы с вами окончательно вернемся к несовершенному совершенному видам. Now we're going to once again really focus on imperfective and perfective aspects. It's going to be coming out of your textbook. Go ahead and go to page 200. Хорошо? And what we are doing is imperfective, which once again, imperfective means that you're dealing with process, you're dealing with simply the fact that something took place, and repeated action, repetition. Хорошо? To say, I read this book, stating a fact. Я читал эту книгу. Okay? It's a great book. So you could say, я читал эту книгу много раз. I read this book many times. Use читал, imperfective. Okay? And process, focusing on how long it took. Я читал эту книгу весь день. I read this book all day. So there it is. Fact, process, and repetition for the imperfective. Хорошо? For the perfective, we're going to use the idea of result and completion. Я прочитал эту книгу. I got this book read. I finished reading it. I know everything in it. Okay. Я прочитал, completion, result, etc. Хорошо. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at the first 4 examples that we are given. Actually, go to page 198. That's where those examples are, under the section 11.8. Very straightforward stuff. Виктор читал книгу 2 часа. Imperfective. Victor read the book for 2 hours. Process, right? Хорошо. Then, сейчас он прочитал книгу. Now he finished reading the book. He read it. He got it done. Completion. Perfective. Хорошо. Another example. Этот театр строили год. This theater was being built for a year. That's how long it took. So they were building it. Строили. Imperfective. Process. Хорошо. Then, этот театр, сейчас наш театр, уже построили. Now it is completed. It got built. Literally, да? Хорошо. It's done. Whenever you see уже, that's a good indication that you're dealing with perfective, and that's the form you need to use. Хорошо. Okay. So, now, going to page 200 and looking at the second batch there. Строить, построить. Хорошо? Строить, to be building. Построить, to have built. Хорошо? To have gotten it done. Отлично. Example number 1. Этот новый город blank 6 лет. This new city was being built for 6 years. That's what I think it is. So, строили is what we get. Хорошо? Сейчас его уже, now it has already been built. It's been done. Уже indicates that you need perfective, so it is построили. Очень хорошо. Second example. Когда blank our home начали blank another new home. I think we're dealing with when our home got finished, was built, they started building another home. So the first part, when they got it done, perfective, result. Когда построили наш дом, хорошо, they began to be building, they began doing it, they began the infinitive. Начали строить is what you'd use. Очень хорошо. Отлично. Третий пример. Какой хороший новый дом. What a great new home. Его давно blank. It for a long time, or maybe давно in this case means long time ago. I think that's the only use for it. What you're saying is, has it been built long ago? Have they completed it a while ago? So его давно построили is what I'd use there. Очень хорошо. Номер 4, number 4. Олег долго жил в Новосибирске, где он blank дома. Олег has lived in the past in Novosibirsk for a long time, where he blank houses. What did he do there? He built houses, right? That's what he did while he was there. Imperfective, past tense, где он строил дома. Очень хорошо. Отлично. Number 5. Такие дома обычно blank очень долго. This type of houses, they usually very long time build. They take a long time to build. Okay, so they build in general, present tense, imperfective, строят. Хорошо? Once again, don't despair. This takes a lot of practice and a lot of actually figuring out what it means before you can come up with the right verb in the right form. Хорошо? Так, number 6. Город blank долго, но сейчас, etc., etc. Долго, for a long time, but it's in the past. So, they took a long time to build this city. Долго строили is what you should get. Хорошо? But now they've built houses, schools, theaters, etc. Okay? Уже is there. They have already completed. So as a result, since you've got уже and the meaning of completion, result, there are those houses, etc. You do use построили, perfective. Очень хорошо. Now, рассказывать, рассказать. We go into the third batch. Рассказывать is to be narrating, to be telling a story. Рассказать is the perfective of it. Очень хорошо. Давайте посмотрим. Let's see. Number 1. Олег долго blank о работе в Академгородке. Олег for a long time. That's your indication. For a long time must be the process. Рассказывал. Хорошо? А потом он начал, and then he started telling about something. He started to do it. Imperfective still, but infinitive. Начал рассказывать. Хорошо? Number 2. When Олег everything told, we started watching television. When he got done, perfective completion. Когда он все рассказал. Хорошо? Очень хорошо. Number 3. Masha for a long time. Whenever you see that, go ahead and use рассказывала. Imperfective. Рассказывала. Хорошо? Которые живут в деревне. When she has told the whole story. Когда она все рассказала. Perfective. Хорошо? Владимир, number 4. Часто. Владимир often. Must be happening now. Often tells. When something gets done repeatedly, we use imperfective. So that's what we do. Часто рассказывает. Хорошо? And number 5, final. Larisa недолго. Larisa, not for a long time, talked about this passenger on the plane. Да? Недолго рассказывала. Хорошо? Отлично. Now let's go to the fourth batch. Показывать versus показать. To be showing versus to have shown. Same idea as with рассказывать, рассказать. What we do here is, number 1, посмотрите. Вера редко blank квартиру. Vera seldom shows off her apartment. Okay. Vera редко, that's what she does. Present tense must be imperfective. Редко показывает. Хорошо. Но сегодня, когда мы были у нее, она долго blank ее. But today, when we were at her place, she took a long time to show it. She was doing it for a while. So, imperfective, past. Показывала. Очень хорошо. Number 2. Когда Петр Антонович blank все фотографии, он сказал, let's play chess. Хорошо. When Anton Petrovich has shown all the pictures. When he was through, he finally said, hey, let's play chess. Do something fun, right? Okay. So, показал is what we do. Perfective. Хорошо. Number 3. Я не знал, где мой портфель, и Володя blank его. I had no idea where my briefcase was, so Volodya showed it to me. One time. Just single complete action. Not that he was showing the briefcases here or there. No. Just one time. So, показал. Хорошо. Number 4. Маша всегда с удовольствием. Masha always, with great enthusiasm, shows her apartment. Okay, well, present tense must be imperfective. Показывает. Хорошо. Now, делать, сделать. Those two are extremely useful. Делать, to be doing it. Сделать, to get it done. That's a perfect example of imperfective, to be doing it, and perfective, to get it done. Хорошо? Ну что ж, давайте посмотрим. Что вы blank вчера вечером? What you did last night. Is the question about what did you get done or what were you doing? I think it's what were you doing. So, что вы делали вчера вечером? Хорошо. Мы смотрели хорошую передачу, бла-бла-бла. Number 2. Что blank Елена Владимировна, когда она прочитала эту книгу? What did Елена Владимировна do after she finished this book? What was she doing? Что делала? What did she get done? Что сделала? I would agree to both. Either one is fine. What we've got here is что сделала. What did she do next? Хорошо. Okay, number 3. Что blank строители, когда они построили ваш дом? What did the builders start doing? Что? What did they do? Что сделали? What did they switch to? So that's what we've got. Что сделали? Хорошо. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at something a little bit more fun, and that is a review of prepositional case endings. I'm sure you remember the idea of answering the question где, where at, with a noun that ends in a е. Где, е. So, где в Москве, где в Далласе. Хорошо? Then sometimes you end up with a double E ending, like Россия being в России. Хорошо? And last time we also had a couple rather weird looking endings. Those were in the forest, in the woods, etc. В лесу, в саду. Хорошо? Some masculine nouns take that accented U as an ending. So, in the woods, в лесу, in the garden, в саду. Хорошо? And another example that we had was в аэропорту, at the airport. Очень хорошо. Так, ну что ж. Now we're going to do something else. I would like to show you an illustration of imperfective and perfective verbs being used in the past. Пожалуйста, посмотрите. Таня, ты уже прочитала этот журнал?
Нет еще. Я вчера читала весь вечер, но еще не все прочитала. А ты, Дмитрий, уже прочитал этот журнал?
Я тоже еще не все прочитал. Я его читал всю субботу, но еще не все прочитал. Да, кстати, Таня, ты не знаешь, они уже сделали эту работу?
Нет еще. Они работали все утро, но еще не все сделали.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
Хорошо. Давайте посмотрим, о чем это все было. Let's see what it was about. Таня, ты уже прочитала новый журнал. Таня, have you read? Уже indicates you're going to use perfective. Have you done it? Have you completed? Have you finished reading the новый журнал, new magazine? Еще нет, not yet. Вчера я читала весь вечер, all evening, so читала. Was reading all evening, spend the whole evening reading. Imperfective, process. Но еще не все прочитала, but haven't read everything yet. Haven't finished. Не прочитала. Хорошо? So, three main things there. Уже сделала, have you done it, делала, and then will get it done, etc. Хорошо? Ну что ж. А ты, Дмитрий, уже прочитал этот журнал, and you, Дмитрий, have you already read this magazine? Same deal there, right? Тоже еще нет, also not yet. Я читал всю субботу, I read all Saturday. We started out with вся суббота there, feminine, and then turned it into всю субботу because time phrases are usually in accusative case, direct objects, just like I said before. Но еще не все прочитал. I haven't read everything yet. Хорошо? And the final batch there was Таня, они уже сделали эту работу. Таня, have they done this work? Have they completed this? Сделали, perfective. We're using it with уже. Еще нет, not yet. Вчера они работали все утро. They worked all morning. They spent the morning working. So we're using imperfective работали. Но еще не все сделали. But so far didn't get everything done. Да? Не все. Not everything. Хорошо? Отлично. So, main idea here once again is, have you done it? Вы сделали? Perfective, right? Вы уже сделали? Have you already finished it? Хорошо? The answer, еще нет. Not yet. Хорошо? Then, я делал это все утро. I was doing this all morning. Imperfective, talking about spending time. Хорошо? Но еще не сделал. But haven't completed it. Haven't gotten it done. Хорошо? Take a look at it once again. Let's review it. Таня, ты уже прочитала этот журнал?
Нет еще. Я вчера читала весь вечер, но еще не все прочитала. А ты, Дмитрий, уже прочитал этот журнал?
Я тоже еще не все прочитал. Я его читал всю субботу, но еще не все прочитал. Да, кстати, Таня, ты не знаешь, они уже сделали эту работу?
Нет еще. Они работали все утро, но еще не все сделали.
Спасибо.
Пожалуйста.
One more thing. Долго versus давно. Долго for a long time, давно for a long time, and also давно as in long time ago. So let's take a look at one. Долго for a long time and not happening right now. That's the idea. It's a general statement like я долго гуляю. I take long walks or something like that. Хорошо? Или я долго читал эту книгу, но сейчас не читаю. I've read this book for a long time, but not reading it now. If you want to talk about something that's been happening for a while and still is, for that one you use давно. That's for a long time and still now. As in, я давно читаю эту книгу. I've been reading this book for a while. Хорошо? Then things get finally truly muddled with давно meaning a long time ago. Давно я читал эту книгу. Long time ago I read this book. Хорошо? Something of that nature. We'll do more work with it. Plus, you'll have a perfect opportunity to practice it using exercise 11.7, which will be in your homework. Here's what we did today. We looked at долго versus давно. We have looked at one and all, and a few examples as well. And of course, the aspects of verbs imperfective, perfective, несовершенный, совершенный. Очень хорошо. Now let's see what the homework is going to be. 11.8b, page 201, that's imperfective, perfective. And the above mentioned exercise 11.7 on page 198. That is use of давно, долго, etc. And of course, try practicing the vocabulary, deal with the dialogues. Очень хорошо. На этом мы с вами наш урок заканчиваем. Спасибо. До свидания.